That's not me, Augustine. I'm trying. It's on YouTube. They like to go slow. They want to know what I want to talk about first. That's what AI wants. What is this dude going to talk about, man? He's going to talk about some colonizers. Well, they gave you the grind. I don't think I should be proud of it. All right, there we go. YouTube is up, so let's bring the comments in. Whew. How's everybody's weekend? Anybody grinding this weekend? I was grinding this weekend. I just don't believe in being proud of the colonizers' grind. Ooh! Sister Lauren said something on her live stream. Had me going, had me thinking. So I asked the question this weekend. I have to go back and see all the comments. I haven't seen them yet. Should America exist? It's a deep question. It's a deep question. You know, a lot of my friends voted for Trump because they were trying to sabotage the system. There's some really silly people who thought he was trying to make America great again, but I think that question's been answered. At least I think it has. But what if he collapses America? Is that a bad thing? Because it's not just America that would go down if Trump actually is the fool y'all say he is, and I don't think he is. I think that man is highly intelligent. I think that man put on a face for his voters, and he put on a face for the rest of the world. You think he's some blue-collar worker, and he's not. I think that man is smart. I think he knows what he's doing. But I don't think he's doing it for me. I don't think he's doing it for you. I think he's doing something for himself. But what if he actually is collapsing America? Is that a bad idea? Is the grind a good idea? That's the number one question. Was colonization a good idea? Right? Is having forced labor of 320 million people in America and all the nations that have blown up and all the sellout nations that are going with this Rothschild banking America thing, United States Corporation, is that a good thing to keep? Why are they mad at Donald Trump anyway? Because they want to be ones shooting people. That's why. They want to be the ones colonizing. And that's that Brother John. That's why I don't agree with the violent revolution. I don't agree with it. Don't agree with it. To me, it's Brother Dave said it this weekend. He said that's why they call it revolution. It's just the next revolution in this cycle that never ends. A cycle of violence and using violence to solve problems that we can just walk away from. So that's what she said. She said Trump's gonna collapse America. I'm okay with that. I had to think about it for a little bit, and I was thinking about, damn it, I've been grinding my whole life. I've been out there picking cotton, doing synthetic drugs, pissing them out, destroying the water, destroying the ecosystems for this America thing. It's United States, not America, United States Corporation thing. Right? America is just a land, it's just people. 50 nations brought into slavery under this United States Corporation thing. But the grind, this is a good thing. Because I think they replaced the old Negro spirituals with like motivational quotes and posts on Facebook to get you to get out there and pick more cotton. Instead of singing and sweating in the field, you're taking drugs in the morning and you're pulling up posts on Facebook in the office, grinding away, picking your. I disagree with it. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think none of it's a good idea. I think we should get rid of the whole thing. I'm okay with the collapse. Let it all fall apart. Let it all fall apart. It shouldn't exist. It was wrong. All of it was wrong. All of it was wrong. Let it collapse. I'm fine. What is the grind? And should I be motivated? Should I be motivated to get mine, to get the hustle, to become a colonizer? Because I actually want to control people and tell other people what to do. I don't think we should. I think it's a bad idea. I think the whole thing should collapse. Glenn is an advocate for the demi revolution. What is that? I want to look at the news today, but I want to look at some comments first. I didn't watch the news all weekend. I have no idea what the silly monkey's up to. I'd like to take a look, but I'm gonna see your comments first. What is a demi revolution? Putin says there are two Trumps. Patricia, I believe that. Don't tell me that. I believe. I believe all that quantum physics, cloning stuff. I believe it. Yeah, I believe reptilian shapeshifting, epigenetics, and what is the other? A placebo effect. I believe mind over matter. Don't tell me it's two Trumps because I believe it. I think it's two Obamas too. I think you had that nice guy that you put in office, then you had that criminal once he got in office. All right, so I don't know what a demi revolution is. You talking about shooting people from the bank? Ain't with that. Oh, YouTube ain't with that. Oh, that's why, John. Maybe it was a delay. Okay. Well, I didn't say it, John. The kid said it. He was listening to his Paul. His paw said he's supposed to shoot anybody from the bank. That's what he said, and he's right. He's right. I was thinking about it this morning. I probably got in trouble. I was talking gender this morning. I was thinking about the male. What is a man and a male? Well, we evolved to be stronger. We have bigger muscles, and for a reason. For a reason. And I think there's only one reason. It's a job. One job that every man on this planet has failed at, completely failed, because it's still a violent planet. We're supposed to protect. We're the defenders. We were the ones with the muscle. And why did we get that muscle? Because the damn grizzly bear had teeth. Because the wolves were too smart for us and always trying to outdo us. They always come for the weak in our herd, our women, our children, our elderly, the wise. I think man has one reason, one evolutionary job that he cannot ever fail. He can fail at everything else. Us patriarchs, we're good at that. We can fail at everything, but you can't fail at one damn thing, and that's defense of the herd. And we failed at it. We totally failed at it. All over the world. Totally failed. Every last one of us. We just let whoever runs all the wars prey upon our children. Because who's the number one victim of war? Women, children, and the elderly. Our creators, our next generation, and our wise. We failed across the board. Failed across the board. I have a new thing, and get in trouble. All right, let's get in trouble. I think if you're for war, you're not a man. I think you're a coward. That's what I think. I think if you are voting and cheering for a war, I don't think you're a man. I think you're ignorant, you're a fool, or you're a child. Because our one job is to make sure that we don't destroy our creator's creator, the children, and the wise. I think that's the strength of our herd, our 7 billion herd. We failed all over the world, all of us, all of us. Man, get me in trouble on that. What angry face? I need to say angry because I know you was posting the other day about if we gonna go to Venezuela, Operation Live or Die. No, that's Operation I'm a Coward. That's Operation I don't pay attention to evolution. That's Operation I don't want to be a man and stand up against the most powerful. There you go, the angry face right there. We gotta always have some angry faces. Well, people gotta get upset. Like I said, that's why Saj Guru is my guru. He's not in my faith. He doesn't believe what I believe, and I have some spiritual stuff I believe. It's not along the church stuff I was raised in. It's a little different. Not much different, but it's a little different. I kind of took out some dogma, flipped some things I think came from little G gods, not big G gods, and scriptures that were altered because it didn't make sense and it conflicted with the 10 Commandment type stuff. And I got my own beliefs. I don't believe what people in the church believes. I got my own belief. But the Saj Guru guy, wasn't raised in the faith I was, but the reason I listen to him because he challenges me. You need to find some people who challenge you. That's why I spend most of my time with old people. I spend my time with old people. I love me some old people. I love me some little old ladies, little old guys. I get them talking. I get them talking best I can because they got wise things to say. I might have the brawn because I'm a young man, but I do not have the experience. That's the experience. That's why I get these old folks around me who can give me that data, that information. They've been alive a lot longer than I have. We always respected our elders. That's why we hand it down. That's why this young man right here, where is he at? He's supposed to shoot the man from the bank. Not literally. YouTube, not literally. I am not for violence at all. Wait, where's the bitch at? Where is he at? You supposed to shoot? You Hogwallop boy. Yes, sir. Paul said I'm supposed to shoot anybody from the bank. Well, why? Well, he's a young man. He's powerful. He's got his little 22. Can't kill nobody with it, but he shoots in the butt. He's listening to his elders. So I spend time with elders because they question this false reality that I live, right? They have enough data. They've been alive 60, 70, 80, 90. Damn near I got 100 years. Lost one the other day, unfortunately. Rest in peace, Darwin Hunter. Good brother. He used to teach some things. He's crazy out of his mind. Darwin, I know he's floating around somewhere. He's crazy out of his mind, but he was a good brother. And he had things to teach. I disagree with 70% of what he said. I used to work with him. But that 30% he nailed. 30% he nailed. Pulled me in the right direction in certain places. But that's why I listen to Saj Guru. He wasn't raised in my faith, but he has wisdom that's deep enough that challenges my current colonizer makeup. Because we all got colonizer makeup, y'all. Every last one of us. The only question is who's trying to take it off. I'm trying to take it off. I'm trying to get that mascara, that colonizer mascara. I'm trying to get that what's that dude, the lion, he said he's the first one, but he wasn't first. Columbus. I'm trying to get his lipstick on. I'm like, oh no, he been kissing me and I believe this my whole life. I'm out here grinding. I'm out here grinding and taking drugs, and I got this fake hair and I got this fake cologne. I got this fake perfume. I'm faking the funk. But we all still kind of faking in a way. That's probably why I was late, because I shaved half my face and missed the other half. I gotta go fix this, because you know why? The king said we don't get to sell or buy unless we're purdy. We have to look like the lords, or we can't go to the palace and make any money. We can't be in the grind unless we are pristine. We can't have little smelly children, little nappy hair, little beaded up dreadlocks. You gotta make sure your little useless eater deplorables are pretty. That's what I kind of like today. I kind of feel like I'm in the 80s a little bit, because now kids they're done with your whole colonizer clone crap. A lot of these kids like, look, I'm gonna have purple hair, I'm gonna have people hair, I'm gonna have a pink hair, I'm gonna have a lipstick in my lip and in my ear, and y'all, everyone, the old people get upset like, don't do that. And the more you tell them don't do it, the more they do it. Hillary Clinton came up with the whole don't do drugs because they wanted you to do drugs. All right, grind. Well, what is the grind to people? What is the grind? And should you be? Are you proud to be in the grind? Do you listen to motivational tapes at nighttime when you sleep to help you pick more cotton in the morning? Is that all right? Good morning, everybody. Let me go down. Let me see some comments. I gotta look at the news because I don't know what's going on. I'm pretty sure they're talking about this Mueller guy. Let me see. Deborah's still waking up. But Deborah, get up, girl. I done been up. I done did some gardening, sweating. What was I planting this morning? I done planted me some lantana. Why? Because they're great pollinators and the deer don't like them. I done repotted my coffee tree. I'm lying. I didn't repot it. I supposed to repot it, but I didn't repot it. I make it sound like I'm doing a lot. I'm always doing a lot. I'm always in the garden. But I got a coffee tree. I got an Arabica coffee tree. I've been growing it damn near 6 years, so I'm waiting for some berries to pop off of that puppy. You know, the climate's not supposed to grow, but I take it in the winter. And I guess it's probably about 5 feet tall, but it took off in the last 2 or 3 years, so I think I'm gonna get some berries this year and make some coffee, which would be awesome to do. I think in the apocalypse, we gotta have coffee because Americans are moody people. Oh, my Kentucky coffee trees are coming up this morning, Deborah. I was working on that this morning. They're like 3-4 inches popped out the ground. Yeah, Kentucky got coffee trees. It was a Native American bean. It's a tree that's a bean, and so I'm growing a bunch of them. Good morning, everybody. Let me see. All right, I don't know what's yeah, Glenn, you got to tell me what the demi-revolution it is. Good morning, good morning. A whole bunch of people here this morning. Motivational quotes are for losers. I want to be nice. Yeah, but you're probably right. They're losing at the grind. They're winning at the grind, but they're losing at themselves. At their self. They're off grinding, doing what someone else wants them to do, so they hate their life, so they gotta listen to quotes and take drugs and yell and scream at their wife and not get a husband none because they hate their life and they don't want to go out and discover themselves. So they listen to quotes to make them think that grinding is winning. They listen to quotes and take drugs and alcohol and things to feel fuzzy because they can't accept and don't want to accept the false life that they're living. It makes sense to me. I think if you need motivation, let's think about this. If you need motivational speaking, something's wrong, right? Something's wrong. I mean, shouldn't you be motivated? Like, shouldn't you have a life where you want to jump out of bed in the morning? If you need an external source to motivate you, something's broken. Right? If you need an external force to get you to do the thing that you say is making a living, grinding, then you need to do inside work. I agree with you. You're losing. That's a good sign you're broken. It's like the immune system. If you're getting colds, viruses, and flus, that's a good sign your immune system like, hey, this ain't working for me. I ain't doing it. This ain't working for me. You eating too many Twinkies, getting cut back on the donuts. Damn it, you need to drink a smoothie. Never mind, I need to drink my smoothie. Hold on. I think that's an indicator. I think we got to look at the indicators. That's your body rejecting your grinding life, that career you picked for slave masters. Here's my smoothie this morning. Oh, this one's thick. Look at that. That ain't coming out. Look at that. Look at that. It's just sitting there, sitting right in there. That's that good smoothie. That's it. And it's kind of berryish this morning, so it's not muddy brown. I like the muddy brown. I like doo-doo brown smoothies. Fell in my mouth. Big clump of it. Natural. That's how you know that your immune system is working. Oh, another question I asked this weekend is what is processed food to you? We'll get into a serious debate about that. What is processed food, right? Because you're a natural creature, you're a marsupial, you came from mammals and got a little help, but you became what you are. And so you're either eating natural food or you're eating processed food, right? There's not processed-ish. It's either processed or it's not. So what is natural makes you healthy, takes away dis-ease. What is unnatural makes you sick, gives you dis-ease. What is processed? So what is processed to you? I know what process is to me. I like the biological evolutionary explanation of it. I don't like the selective one. You kind of select and choose. This is not really kind of sort of processed. We either ate it millions of years this way or we did not. We ate this for millions of years or we didn't eat that. I'm just going to leave that right there. Y'all can answer that question. But the less fake and phony things you put in your body or your life, the less dis-ease you will have. And what does the grind give people? Dis-ease. Oh, look how that related. See how that all came together? That's how I know that scripture was right, that everything is done decently in order. Time and place for everything. Everything is in balance in this Gaia, Garden of Eden thing. But if you unbalance it, if you colonize and destroy a nation and force people to work for Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Mellons, and grinds that they hate and not actually being themselves, following their passions, you create a diseased population willing to go out and vote again for placing babies in morgues all over this planet en masse, placing babies in prisons en masse. Now I'm all about walk away. Walk away from the system, stop voting for it, because I think there are only two things that can happen. 2 or 3, I forgot what I posted this morning. Only 2 or 3 things that can happen if everybody votes. If nobody voted for a system filling morgues with babies, happily, making everybody grind and forcefully. If nobody voted, the system got 2 choices. 3, I think. 3. 1, like the government. Getting a lot of governments are doing this. I'm not saying anyone in particular. A lot of governments filling them morgues with babies. 1, they go back to governing, because apparently they're not in a sentient fashion. 2, they'll stop faking that they're governing, because we got a lot of governments that are faking, pretending that they're for the people. They'll never do a damn thing for the people. Or 3, they go away. I'm good with all of those things. I'm good with all of those things in the short term. But keeping the same system that's burning the earth, burning Eden is a bad idea. All right. A full revolution always brings the same people back asking. Exactly, and that's my point, Glenn. I'm with you. So we totally agree. The revolution is pointless. All you're gonna do, because you're fighting because you want to be in control. You're using force because you agree with the people who use force against you. You've literally proven them right just by using force against them. And so what's the point? You might as well let them stay in control because oppression already won. Before you fired the first shot, you're looking to oppress them or oppress somebody else. You literally are an oppressor. And I think people have to think more about it. They have to think more and be honest with themselves. You just want to be in control. You think you're right. You think you're correct. And so you're willing to levy force and take up arms to kill other people and force the system that you want, until someone comes along and takes up arms against you, as opposed to having an adult conversation and saying, hey guys, should we be killing children? No. We shouldn't be dropping bombs on them? No. Okay. Well, maybe we need to reboot this whole thing and go back and have solutions that work for everybody. So I agree with you. Revolution is not a change, it's doing the same damn thing. And it's keeping a system based in force and violence in control. You know, people, after every revolution, even from a practical perspective, do you think they like sit everybody down at a table, say, all right, y'all, what we gonna do? We gonna give freedom to everybody. That's not what they do. They got armies, man. They got guns and they're angry. The warrior gene done kicked in. They got the psychopathic warrior thing going. They don't give a damn what you want. They fought the war for a certain reason. They're gonna do that, and whatever that is gonna be stupid. It's gonna be the same thing. We need to end the cycle, end the revolutionary cycle. We need to stop with solutions by force. If you want to do a violent revolution, you're actually no different than the government. You might be a little smarter in terms of that this doesn't work, but it's just the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just a different face. That's all it is. All right, let me go ahead. I'd like to take a look at the news if you can. Timmy equals half. Okay, Glenn. Okay, I see what you're saying. No, not literally. He means he's a different dude in private than the public showman. Oh yeah, well I know that's true, Patricia. I know that's true. That part is true, not the clone part. I don't know about the clone part, but I know that part is true because I know one person who knows Trump, and I know someone else who's met him, and they say that he is who he needs to be. He is who he is to, and that's why, like I said, I don't believe the act. It's all an act. He will do anything to make the deal or accomplish whatever project he wants to do. And the people who know Trump, that's what they say. Or the one person I know who rolls in those billionaire circles, she said that's who he is. She said he's a nice guy. I don't know anything about that, but in terms of him becoming anybody he needs, putting on any art avatar he needs to get a deal, or he'll do it. And then I have another guy who knew him in New York, worked with him in terms of working on one of his buildings, and he didn't have anything nice to say. He was like the guy's a horror. He's a good businessman with zero ethics. He wants to win on any occasion, and so he didn't pay the engineer. They did like the bathrooms in some big hotel or something and whatever, and he didn't pay him like 80 grand or something. He screwed him because he didn't like whoever his wife was at the time. He didn't like the pattern she picked in the bathroom after they already did it. So yes, I'm not a cheerer of anybody. I think everybody becomes what they do in this whole colonized system, and he's a chameleon. So I don't think they're two, they're probably multiple leaders. All right. Let's go. Meg sent the angry faces for me. Thank you, I appreciate that, girl. I want real angry faces. You're fake, that's fake, that's fangry. That's not real angry, that's a fangry face. I like it angry when people, because if I'm saying things that are challenging you, it means we're doing something here. If I'm saying things that aren't challenging you and you're just doing it because I asked for it, I mean, I appreciate it, don't get me wrong, but I like to feel like I'm helping people the way my guru is. He says things that challenge me. I'm not interested in being comfortable. I want things that challenge me, and he gives me things that challenge me. I don't want to be okay with the grind. I don't want to have pride in the grind. I want the grind to end. I want something better for my children and your children, and slavery ain't it. All right. Let me see. Women's main job is to nurture. We have failed also. All right, Rebecca, I'm gonna let you speak on that. I'm not a woman. I don't speak for other people. I don't speak for, if that's what you say, then go with it. I'm gonna tell y'all where man failed. We failed, we suck, we stink, we funky, we all of that. We failed every woman, every child, and all the wise elderly all over this planet. Because we've allowed different groups of people to be in conflict for the worst of our entire tribe. Our herd is suffering because of us. And I think we know better. Let's see, there's nothing wrong with violins. No, nothing wrong with violins. Who got a problem with violins? Good morning, Angie. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning, Ron. Good morning, Deborah. Let me go down so I can get to the news. I don't know what's in the news, but I want to see. I'm going to plant kiwi vine today. Go on, Sandy. I planted kiwi, it didn't come up. Planted something for my mama. Actually, I need to go back and check them. Loves lantana, so pretty, 3 colors and flowers the same. Yes, I love it, Deborah, and it keeps flipping. Good morning, Trish. Good morning, Ivana. Oh, Ivana got some news. Hold on, what's it say? News. There was a shooting. Oh, at a garlic festival in California, the police killed the shooter. Since they didn't identify him, it means he wasn't wearing my hat. This is true. That makes sense. So, but it is that time now. It is that time, right? Election time. Key public shootings. Not that public shootings don't happen, not that they're false flags, but they always use every mass shooting as disaster capitalism, right? They use every mass shooting for votes. They use every mass shooting for gun control and all of this stuff. And I'm just still in the same spot. Keep in mind, The number one gun dealer in the world, no close seconds, is America. No one in the American government has any interest in gun control. None of them. They love guns. They love tanks. They love bombs. They love destruction. They love murdering children, women, senior citizens, the wives. They just drop bombs all damn day. None of them are for gun control. They love guns. They just have an issue when the gun is in the citizens' hands. And that should tell you everything that you need to know. And that is my stance on the Second Amendment. You need to think this through because it's election season and they need you to go along with the projects that they have. The problem isn't guns. The problem isn't people dying. The problem is when their citizens have guns. That's their issue. They damn sure want some citizen gun control. I agree with that. That's exactly what they want. But as far as giving guns to 13-year-olds in Africa, oh, they're okie dokie with that. They're good to go with giving guns to Latin American countries and destabilizing, letting lots of people die. They are good to go. But get ready for it. It's coming. I saw that at a garlic festival. I didn't know if that was true or not, but we're going to see a lot more of it. And the people, outside of the fact, the people who roll out the artificial scarcity that are causing people to go loopy, take the synthetic drugs that the environment doesn't break down, that they're peeing out into the sewer system that we're all drinking back in, it comes from the government. Like they literally cause the conditions that cause the person to do the mass shooting, and then you're going to go to them to save you from the mass. That's why I'm not interested. I'm not interested at all in that. I'm going to work on a painting today. Okay, that's a good thing. Let me just go to work on a painting. Let me see. Brother John, peace, love, happiness, justice, freedom. Real freedom, liberties will only be accomplished through revolution. I'm going to read your whole comment if I can. Let me see, because I'm going to address this again. It does not have to be violent. We outnumber them 99-1. I agree with that. Okay, let's see where you're going with this. They will run. All we have to do is stand up, but they got you all scared, acting holier than thou while they're killing everybody. They're telling you violence is not the answer. It's the only language they speak. I agree. It is the only language they speak, which is why I don't speak it. Does that make sense to you? It's the only language they understand. It's the only language they're prepared for. It's how their minds work, which is why I don't speak violence and I don't do it. Because that's what they're ready for. That's what they prepare for. In their world, that's what they're ready and waiting for us to do. You know, and do I think it'll, once again, I think it will be violent. I don't think that those people I don't think they're giving orders to back down. It's like Area 51. Do you think they're going to stand down, or do you think they're just going to let the Americans run in and grab some alien crafts? They're going to shoot everybody that shows up in that field because the people with the guns have mortgages and kids at home that need to be fed. This world is locked up in a grind. That's what the whole topic's about. It's about a grind. They got us locked up in a grind, and the grind is violent. Right? It's financial violence. You are fighting to shove other people down while you lift yourself up. You are competing against young people and children who need food, water, and houses and all the things in a pyramid scheme that makes sure that the majority at the bottom don't have houses, food, water, and all of those things, right? That's the grind. We gotta stop grinding for the elite. We gotta stop grinding on violent concepts and using force to solve problems. We don't need force to solve. Okay? You don't need 99 people to stand up to them. You 99-1. You don't need that. All you need is people to walk away. That's it. That's it. It's not worth the risk, John, if they shoot back. It's not worth the risk. You get millions of people killed, and it's not going to change. All food is processed. If you cut, grind, cook, it is processed. Y'all heard what Nora said, right? I didn't say that. All food is unnatural. Meaning it does not supposed to go in your body because it didn't in millions of years. If it's cooked, if it's cut, if it's grinded, if it's added with carcinogens and sprinkle pesticides on it and grown fertilizer, none of that it should go in your body. Your body is not prepared for any of that. Nora said it. Y'all get mad at her, not at me. But she's right. I agree with that. Let's look at the news. And what's going on? Let me see. Berries, yummy. Yes, Christine, they are. Blueberries. Puerto Rico is celebrating after their revolution while the politicians are regrouping. And that's what they do, Augustine, right? That's what they do. After the revolution, they regroup and they roll out more oppression. And so in every revolution, after every single revolution, oppression wins again. And I'm kind of disinterested in oppression winning again. I think that we should move on. Oh, look, there's a crosstalk. Let's see. Let's go over to RT and see what RT got to say about the world. Where's the YouTube thing at? Right there. What we got right here? Oh, they're live. Let me see. Trump sanctions lift Huawei to new heights. Oops. Well, you know, and that's good. That's good. Competition is good. And it's good not to have a Huawei. It's good not to have a Siemens. It's good not to have a Cisco. You shouldn't have massive corporations. So it lifts them to new heights. And I don't know, maybe they're competing with the others, but they got the free press. But that's how he got elected, right? When you create drama, no press is bad press. Puerto Ricans angry with ousted governors, what? Replacement. Oh, they got him out, Augustine? They got him out? And he's got a replacement already? All right, let's take a look at that. What's this? Son and father invent portable air conditioner, right? Well, if it's free, you know.
Tonight, the revelry continues in Puerto Rico as the island celebrates the resignation of its governor, Ricardo Rosselló. But as we have been telling you all week, this story is really much more complicated than just one political resignation. It's about years, if not decades, of malfeasance and U.S. intervention. So what now for Puerto Rico? Here is John Huddy with the latest from the island.
It's been radio silence from Governor Rosselló really up until today, when he's now started tweeting messages showing pictures of him meeting with state officials here at the Capitol in San Juan, discussing, as he writes, pending legislative issues, security issues, seemingly business as usual, though we know it's anything but business as usual on the island. Now, Governor Rosselló's resignation officially takes effect next week, August 2nd. And the way the Constitution works here is that in a case like this, the second in line would take over for the governor, that being the Secretary of State. But as I've said before, guess what? There isn't one. He resigned amid the ongoing scandal involving the messages from the governor to his aides, back and forth, and the allegations of public corruption. So the third in line in this case would take control, would take over as governor, that being the Secretary of Justice. It's a woman named Wanda Vasquez, who's been dogged by corruption allegations herself, allegations she's adamantly denied. But now, here in the local media, there's been the publication of leaked messages suggesting that Vasquez did not investigate a controversy having to do with the distribution of aid following Hurricane Maria here in Puerto Rico 2 years ago, allegations that she once again is denying. But that said, if she were to take control as governor, expect more demonstrations, more protests, possibly even more riots. One of the things that we've seen over the last few days leading up to Rosselló's resignation are people carrying signs, people wearing shirts saying, Ricky renuncia, Ricky resign. Well, now those messages that are even written on some of the walls around San Juan say, Wanda renuncia, Wanda resign. So again, the public outcry would more than likely be immense if she were to take over as governor. Outcry in what's been touted as a social movement resulting in change already, including the resignation of the governor and securing a better future for Puerto Rico. But the question now is, what kind of future will that look like for the island? In San Juan, John Huddy, RT.
So you haven't heard that we're the ones covering the stories that you won't see covered anywhere else? In Venezuela, Kazakhstan, let's go to Hong Kong. And the media reaction to that has been crickets. How about the way we cover those stories?
All right.
What the hell does that mean? Volley. That's the key word in this case, uprising.
I'm gonna turn that off. So, yeah. What do y'all think? According, let me see, appointment by Congress couldn't happen. Let me see. They don't have anybody to replace the Puerto Rican governor. Hope they succeed from the U.S. Yeah, well, Hillary, that's kind of where I'm always sitting when it comes to Puerto Rico, right? Like, we made them a slave colony, and that was a bad idea. Obviously, it doesn't work out. They've got a corrupt government because we have a corrupt government. So we're starving them, and their government is starving them, right? So like it all works out through that way. We need to let Puerto Rico, I hope they secede too. But then again, I hope everybody secedes. You know, and this gets back to the initial point. We have a world grind that needs to go away. I'm fine with the whole United States corporation collapsing. Let it go. Let all the slave states free, all the slave countries, let them free. Let them figure out different ways and different, you know, ideas. Like I said, I don't think I really even agree with this governing stuff anymore. I think we probably should be 100,000 tribes again. I like the idea of tribes because we got 100,000 different groups and communities and tribes. You don't have militaries, right? You don't have military industrial complexes. You don't have pentagons. You don't have the ability to murder people in mass. You'll have problems, and you might even have conflict, but you won't have endless wars and central banking and massive central points of failures where you can control 100 million, let alone 300 million, let alone 7 billion people. 100,000 different tribes with the resources of a couple thousand people, or 10,000 people. They don't have the ability to destroy the planet, and right now we're destroying the planet. And I think that is probably the biggest issue we have, because we kind of sort of need this thing. A lot of us have kind of sort of gotten used to eating food and drinking water. And so if you have massive corporations and massive governments controlling massive swaths of people in the grinding for their GDP so they can buy weapons and be in conflict with another kingdom, all of the kingdom building, using force against each other, the planet doesn't make it. If the planet doesn't make it, we don't make it. So I agree with that. Let me see. We won't have careers taking us far from our tribes. Yeah, well, Mary, I don't agree with careers. I think careers are bad ideas. I don't think anybody should have a career. I think that you should have a passion, and you should go do that passion. But if that passion shifts, then you should shift to something else. I think you should be free, and I think you should self-determine. We have robots and automation to make sure you have your minimal needs, the housing and food and water. And I think all the tribes should have that. That's why it's probably critical that Americans wake up, because they can deploy that around the world. They can deploy a new model that's based in freedom, not colonization, and forcing grinds and giving them motivational speeches and quotes to keep them to be okay with something that shouldn't exist. We're not slaves. We need no master. Maha, I agree with you. I don't think we're slaves. I think we are enslaved and that we are captives, but we don't need masters anymore. But unfortunately, the majority of people seem to disagree, because they're right back to figuring out who gets to be the new master. And I don't think we need a master. I think the whole thing should collapse. It's all right. The revolution is inevitable. Brother John is on it. I give you that. You're consistent. You don't give up easily. People are just going to wait until it's too late. And I agree with that too. Well, I won't say that I agree. I'm hoping that's not the truth. History says it's true, but it is a sad truth. And it's a sad truth that we do go back through that revolution. That's why they call it that. And, you know, but we never had an internet, John, right? We never had the ability to sit and have these conversations and pull people together. So you had no choice but to deploy that hate speech, that hate of the system speech in violence. That was another thing I posted this morning. You know, silencing hate speech. Like, what is hate anyway? Hate is just a cry out. It's a cry out for help. It's like somebody who personally attacks you. It's someone who wants help. It's someone who's crying out for help. And you can either silence the person who's calling out for help, or you can help them. You can change things, right? And so, yeah, we are crying out for help. We should be. Anybody that's got a brain should be, because they're murdering our children all over the planet. And they're not helping us. Therefore, we got to help ourselves. But helping ourselves in restarting the revolution and waiting another 100 years for our children to be murdered and being thrown in morgues at the same amount they are today, that's not a change. But the sad truth is, John, you're right. If we don't grow up, if we don't evolve, if we don't move forward, if we don't go back to being sovereigns and discovering self and some sort of consciousness or spiritual whatever, we continue along these conflicts and being grouped as cattle to do a grind for massive corporations, the unavoidable result is a massive collapse of the system and a revolution. You're right about it. There's no question. But we have the internet. And I think we have a little time. Running out of time. And plus, we could have a direct democracy that could fix it. Decisions are best made through consensus. Exactly, Nora. But you only have a consensus, right, if you respect people. That's why you have Democrats and Republicans. They don't want a consensus. They want force. They want to force the other people to live how they want to live. They think they're right. That's what a political party is. That's what groupthink is. It's grouping up with other people because you know you're right. And you want to force other people into your world, right? Consensus is listening to everybody, including the people with the hate speech, and developing a world that cultivates, a society that cultivates people who don't have hate. And that's what we need to evolve to. But we certainly aren't there. All right, what else we got? So Puerto Rico was a good example, right? And why were they enslaved? They were enslaved to grind. That's why. The grind. They were enslaved as a nation through that taxing structure, because the more people and the more nations you have grinding for you, the more money you make, and nobody's shooting the man from the bank. All right. Royal Navy to the U.S., we don't need your help with Iran. That's weird. Let's look at that. That's weird. Usually the lapdog UK goes right along with everything America does. We don't need your help. Is that a sign of something? Something going on that I'm missing?
Tonight, the UK is saying it's going to activate its Navy to try and serve as escorts through the Strait of Hormuz. In other words, it's telling all the ships that travel through there that they're going to make sure they ensure their safety. This is interesting because it follows the incident, as you remember last week on the ship, where the Iranians actually seized the British tanker. You can actually see in some of the video as Iranian special forces, the commandos, see them right there? They're coming down and actually landing on the ship, several of them. So that's how they were able to commandeer the ship. Now it seems that the British are embroiled in a similar tit-for-tat over oil tankers, just like the United States and Iran were just about 3 weeks to a month ago. John Jordan is here. He's trying to sort this out for us. He's been looking at this story for some time. John, take us through your take on what the British can or can't do in this situation.
Well, what the British have done here with Jeremy Hunt, their former foreign secretary, is created from Dr. Dolittle a creature known as a push me, pull you. They want to have a separate European-based naval force to provide escorts for European-flagged tankers. But the fact of the matter is the Royal Navy, which is the strongest in Europe, only has 6 destroyers, 13 frigates, and due to funding and political issues, can't field all of them at once, doesn't have the surveillance assets, so would have to integrate with the United States if they want to have any hope of being safe or effective. The German Navy's even worse shape. So it looks like they want to do one thing, but don't have the military wherewithal to actually pull it off.
So why are they making these boasts then?
Well, this was the outgoing May administration, so it looks like this was poorly thought through. They want to have the appearance of being independent of the United States to to continue their political leverage with Iran, to keep the hope of the Iran deal alive, but it's not something that they can back up.
I'm wondering, especially when it comes to the Brits, whether this is some kind of fissure, or is it fair for us to look at it as a fissure between them and the United States, the fact that they're seeming to want to go it alone when it comes to their defense against Iran.
Well, I don't think that the outgoing May administration really knew what they were doing. England had on paper been protective of the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, and wanted to protect it in conjunction with their European partners. And it looks like what they're trying to do is create some sort of political daylight between Europe and the United States by Europe having its own military presence there but isn't beholden to the United States, so at least they could give the appearance to the Iranians of being a separate entity. But it's just not practical militarily.
But why, though?
Okay. All right, I get it. So, all right. So that's just they're trying to hold up appearances because there's billions in sales going to Iran. Okay, so they got that deal. So it's not really a real thing. They still need the killers support. They still need the genociders' ability to go do that. Something I saw in the room, Sister Amanda put, hate equals a cry for help. Hard to feel compassionate for many of the haters' daily practices. And this is true, Amanda. It's very true. It's very true. The only thing I can say to that, Amanda, is that when you look at where some of these people come from, I have a different perspective, right? It does give a different perspective when you look at possibly what some of the people have been through. That's hard, though. I agree with you. It's hard. I had somebody, Amanda, used to hate on me a lot, but I knew where she was from. I knew that she was abused as a child. I know that she was raped many times by a boss that she had. And while she was aggressive, foul-mouthed, and a mess, through hate speech all around, I understood where she came from. And while I didn't understand it, but I was aware. Like, hate doesn't just come out of nowhere. And I think the people who are the most aggressive in your life tend to be the people who dealt with things that may just be unbearable to you. And so I think empathy is the answer for that. It is hard. It's hard. It's definitely hard. And you can only deal with certain people. But you know what? I find my empathy in the privilege I had of not going through what that person did. I find my empathy in the privilege I had. Like, I can use my privilege in not having been raped, not having been oppressed, having two parents and being raised with food. I can use my privilege to help them, or I can use my privilege to silence them, or I can use my privilege to apathetically just look away or even fight them. And I think, the voyage that I'm on is I'm trying to become sentient. I'm trying to become civilized. I'm trying to fix the things that maybe I didn't break, but I was a part of. And I think the only way you do that is by putting your feet in somebody else's shoes. And so if my feet, so far, were in the shoes of pretty much everybody I know hates me, and I got a lot of them. There's a whole bunch of them. I'd be them. And so it's hard, but I think we just got to get good at putting on everybody else's shoes. And I think that's where we get to that spot where we can make good consensus and universal decisions, where we go and try on everybody's shoes, and then we can start to make good decisions. And I think that's evolution. I think that's us evolving socially. Let me see. Violent revolution is inevitable unless we walk away from the system that makes violent revolution. Unless we walk away from the system, violent revolution inevitable. Exactly. Oh, go, Rebecca. Yes. See what Rebecca wrote? I might have to quote that later. Violent revolution is inevitable unless we walk away from the system that makes violent revolution inevitable. Go on with that. That's why I can't. That's it. That's the revolution right there. That's that cycle. You have to break that cycle that requires violence. Absolutely. Love that. Great quote. Did you say that? Because I'm going to quote and put your name on it. Sometimes I do that and they got upset. It's like, nah, it's out on the website. That's it. It is a trap. Yes, it is, Christine. It is always a trap of keeping the same psychopathic energies in place. Like, here's an example. Here's a crazy thing. Y'all watch K-Pax, do your homework. What if we are energy? And what if the human being is hackable? Like drones are hackable. Drones are energy, right? Just like we are. They have a signal and they're hackable. What if a human being is hackable? What if this possession thing is real? Switching the body may not change the energy. You might swap in a new president, but what if that energy is being hacked? Right? What if there's dark energy and good energy? And what if the dark energy always ends because we keep a system of oppression and violence in place because we become oppressive and violent with it, and we just keep that revolution cycle going? Absolutely. I love how you said that. We ain't got no time for that. Okay, Deborah posted a link. Let me see. That was nothing but a premiere for a movie. Oh, it was a premiere for a movie, Daniel. I like movies. Oh! You made me think of something. I come none of the 2020s are talking about the new Zombieland movie? Y'all know Zombieland got a part 2. Zombieland has a part 2. And if it comes out during the election, I promise you, well, actually, if it can come out not during, I'm still not going to watch the election because I don't care. But I'm going to watch Zombieland too. How come none of the 2020s talked about that? To me, that's more important. It's more important than everything they got to say. Zombieland Part 2. Y'all, if you didn't watch Part 1, you need to watch Part 1. But Part 2, they'll probably mess up. Speaking of movies. Oh, I'm watching something good too. I found a new thing on Netflix. What am I watching? Dang, what is the name of this show? Space show. In space, alien thing came and landed, and the lady with a bunch of group of people going to the planet that the alien thing came and landed from. Good movie, good examples. I can't say anything about it yet because I don't know anything about it, but I try to find like the reason for the stories, and I think all movies, all TV shows, all things have points to them. They all have a message with them, but I'm watching something new. I forgot what it's called. All right, let me see. They're trying really hard to convince us how big of a villain Iran is, yet Iran just wants to be left alone. Exactly, Ivan, and that's what they do. They like to turn you against people, right? They like to turn us against people. And I'm not against Iran. Iran is full of a bunch of my cousins, like China, like America, like Britain, like everywhere else, and I don't want to kill none of them. Iran is full of women, and the number one job of a man is to not kill a woman, to not kill our creators. Our creator's creator. The number one job of a man is not to bomb children. Iran is full of children. And another job is not to bomb and kill our wisest elders. And Iran is full of old, wise people. All of that collective information that can be utilized to drive a planet forward in a sentient direction. And it's not worth killing them for nothing. But they'll try hard, and people are in that grind. That's the other thing about the grind, right? They got pride in that grind. They keep grinding away. They don't have time to go out and do research and like think. They just keep grinding away. All right. They're confounding and compounding to confuse and distract. Yes, Nora, that is exactly what they do because they are good at it. You know, and they're supposed to do it. If the distractions work, they're supposed to keep distracting because they're in a fight for retirement like everybody else. They're in a fight for the maximum resources. Politicians have a grind of their own. All right, let's kind of do a quick run through. I'm not sure. Oh, this is a weird breakdown. Let's go to the video. Quick breakdown. Just try to see what's in the news. What are people talking about? What are they scared about? What's going on? Let me see. Recession could hit in early 2020, says an investment advisor. Well, we're already in depression-like conditions. Just drive around America and take a look, so don't really care about that. We know a full collapse is on its way. Plant seeds, learn how to take care of yourself. And build community around you. On contact, wreckage of imperialism and neoliberalism with rapper Low Key. I don't know who Low Key is. That doesn't really matter as a rapper, but it's interesting. The wreckage and neoliberalism, right? Imperialism, neoliberalism, and neoconism, all the damn thing. Same damn thing. The picture of the colonizers behind me is just colonizers giving you a grind by taking away somebody else's grind. It's all about power, domination, control, killing people, not being a man, being a coward, not being a woman, not being a creator, or whatever. And I don't do the whole men-woman thing. I think people are spectrums of everything, so I don't really even care. But that looks like that might be pretty good. Trump sanctions and why he lived like the Puerto Rican, blah, 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 blah. Little Rocket Man blasts 2 rockets at Bolton. Bolton is a criminal and a war criminal, so there's that. Royal Navy, blah, blah, blah. U.S. raging at Russia for mediating in Venezuela. Of course. Why? Because the Koch brothers bought that war. The Koch brothers, they need the oil and they bought the war. Jesse Ventura fed up with draft dodgers beating drums of war at Iran. Well, yeah, well, he served. So he should be upset. Anybody who served and lost people should be upset too. Oh, the other thing, speaking about serving, is the firefighter commissioners in New York. Did y'all see that? Another commissioner in New York came forward and said that there needs to be a 9/11 reinvestigation, that there was new evidence that there was planted explosives, that the building it didn't fall, but it was collapsed. So that would be a great thing to get behind too, and I'm all behind that. I have no interest in the state. My interest is people. And if someone died and we had a murder investigation, it wasn't complete, there's new evidence, then you need to go back and reinvestigate. Because if it turns out Muslims aren't behind it, if it turns out Saudis really aren't behind it, but if it turns out it had something to do with the guy who got the insurance policy a month before 9/11 happened and took out an insurance policy for twice the value of what the building was worth, and was so non-standard that it took 3 insurance companies, I believe it is, to stitch together a policy for that guy. If he knocked down the buildings and killed hundreds or thousands, however many it was, of first responders going up the stairwell to go try to save people, and he knocked down the building to get the insurance money, outside of the whole Israel and all those connections and the 5 people filming it, if he did that, they need to just dig a big hole. Prepare for him, you know. But I'm always with people who die. So if the family are calling for an investigation, and every president that you put in office is hiding the 9/11 investigation, what they did so far, after Obama said he was going to, the families deserve to know, and Trump said we're going to release the files. I don't know the exact quotes, but if they both said that, or better yet, even if they didn't say it, if they actually are working for America and they are helping to keep covered up and investigate a murder investigation of 3,000 Americans and how many tens of thousands of soldiers afterwards in the war, and the 5 million people that were killed total from all the wars, then obviously that president, that congressman, that senator is not there for you. Certainly ain't down there for the American citizens, because they're a part of a cover-up. That's why I don't care anything about the Mueller collusion. I don't care anything about it. Obviously, the whole federal government's colluding with something else, because I don't see any of them speaking as a human. I don't see any of them speaking up for the families that lost people in 9/11. Let alone the JFK files and the Martin Luther King files and the Nikola Tesla files. Obviously, they're not there for us. They're there for the grind. They believe in the grind. They believe in you grinding. And I think we should stop grinding. 17-year-old America crushes Missy Franklin's swimming thingy. That's not important to me, but that's certainly important to anything I've seen thus far. Iran test missile, Pompeo offers propaganda tour. Of course, Pompeo, another war criminal. North Korea fires off the ballistic missiles while Bolton's in Seoul. Okay, well, you know, I think that's a little theatrical, because I think North Korea done already gave up. You know, I think Kim is being pushed. He wants Rothschild nuclear weapons. And he's going to take his Rothschild bank, I think, and he's going to get his nuclear weapons. No, Trump didn't go over there and solve anything. Again, the world doesn't work the way you want it to, and no, Obama didn't make it worse, right? The Federal Reserve and the people behind that make these decisions. They have to make money for big corporations, so they take out big loans and print more money through fractional reserve banking so they can break apart and own America, looting the country. So no one went over there and talk Kim down. They just basically said, you get a Rothschild central bank, you can connect to the world, he can have his Sega Genesis, play his video games, have women, all that stuff he wants to do. So yeah, I think that's theatrics. Because it'll ramp up the other side and get them cheering more, like, look what our president did. And it's like, no, it's just Rothschild banking. Was Trump Saudis are, oh, you guys can't see that. Let me shift it over. Was Trump Saudi arms veto worth it? That must be the killing people for jobs. That's stupid. That's not sentient. That's not the act of a man. It's the act of a coward. But it's not a Trump thing. They've been doing arms deals all over the world prior to him. He just went along with it. So there's no good or bad. And that's why they put Trump there, like Trump's making decisions. He's not. These decisions are made a lot higher up on the trillionaire level, if not the billionaire level, and he's neither. He just works for the slave state of America as the president. Arms shouldn't exist. Military shouldn't exist. That's the Huawei stuff. Let me see. Pilots can't hide in Jeffrey Epstein's sex scandal. Of course they can't, because the pilots were there. They got there. What do you think? They stayed on the plane? I don't know what's happening with it, but a whole lot of people went to that freaky deaky island. And if you got a government that's keeping that secret, that's a problem too, because you know the NSA knows everything. Everybody had their phone over there. They all had Wi-Fi devices and laptops, so everything was recorded. I don't see any more arrests, so that's complicit. That's more collusion with freaky deaky criminals. New York Police Department instructs cops to be funny online. Okay. This is more of the whole cop thing. Cops aren't the problem, your politicians are. They wrote the laws and they send men with guns to arrest people who actually are peaceful, didn't do anything to anybody. So I don't blame cops. Them being funny online shouldn't be anything, but I guess it'll help people to believe that they're people too and focus on them. And I don't think you should focus on them and think they're good or they're bad. They're just people. They're doing a job like everybody else. It's the policy, it's the policing that's busted because they wrote a whole bunch of unconstitutional, unsentient, uncivil laws that make people hate police because they go out there to be debt collectors for Wall Street. So I don't know what that's about, but not really interested. As long as you got politicians writing unconstitutional laws, taking people's rights, taking payoffs for corporations because that's their grind, that's the problem, not police. You got bad police, yes you do. I don't say you got bad police, you got bad teachers, you got bad politicians, you got bad everything, bad doctors, bad. Stop focusing on the bad, focus on the environment. It's the environment that causes the problems, not the actual people. Epstein bruise on his neck, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, that's suicide. Okay, Boeing crashing and burning. Okay, those we read last, that was, we said we saw these the other day, Friday. All right, I'm gonna do comments and we'll go. I don't see anything else that's interesting. I like technology, I like sentientness, I like moving forward. I love aliens. Anything that's important. I see conflict and nonsense, breaking Ukraine season, all the world conflicts, all the dumb stuff. I don't think nations should exist. You shouldn't have that amount of power. That's stupid. Slavery is always dumb. I don't care how intellectual you try to make it sound. Somehow Google, Facebook slammed with $5 billion fine in antitrust probe. That to me is nothing. All right, let's y'all see something. I'm gonna do comments. We're gonna get out of here. I gotta grind. Simulate or submit. Yes, Amy. Everything is always about force. It's force and aggression. We need to stop using force and aggression and using our brains. We have them for a reason. Nice smoothie. Thank you. Yes, I gotta drink my smoothie, but I gotta drink my coffee too. That's a part of my diet. Gotta take them both in. Yes, they're both processed. They're both processed. Yes, I literally was talking about processed food, and coffee is processed in the bean, and it's processed with the hot water, so it's not something we ever had naturally. That says you're not supposed to drink coffee. Smoothie is processed as well because it's all grinded up. That is processed food too. Why am I drinking them? Because I haven't been sick in over 10 years. That's why. So there is a scientific experiment that you need to do with your body, which is why I posted this weekend. We were talking about diet. It's not really diets. It's like, are you healthy or aren't you? If you're healthy, you're eating what you're supposed to, you're living a good life how you should. If you're getting sick, your body's saying something is wrong. I was explaining that, I mean, you could be a carnivore, and I have any issue with that. I really don't care what you eat. That's just how I am. I'm not even an omnivore at all. I know for a fact my body I'm a herbivore. There's no question I'm a herbivore because when I stopped forcing my body to normalize the meats I was putting in it, my body hated me. Right? When I let my body go back to a default condition and choose, my body chose. It does not want meat at all. I can't even go in the meat section in the grocery store. It'll make me vomit. I can't eat. There's no way I could take a bite of meat and keep anything down. Like, it's gross. And that's not to do with animals. That's not to do with animals. I tell people right off that when I eat a tomato, I'm murdering lots of tardigrades and microbiology and flora and fauna. So it's not even about that not killing anything. You're always killing something. Everything is a consumption of energy. But the fact that when I stopped, and it wasn't right away, it probably took a few months. I didn't like meat. And probably after about a year or so, I can't stand it. It's disgusting. Like the look of it, the smell of it. I can't even eat jackfruit that's seasoned with barbecue sauce because it reminds me too much of meat. It makes me feel like I'm gonna throw up. So no, I'm not a carnivore. I'm not an omnivore. I'm definitely a herbivore. And now I know for a fact because I drink my coffee, I drink my smoothie, eat out my garden, and I haven't been sick and I can't remember when. Nothing. No flus, colds, viruses, none of that. Headache, none of it. Zero. Zilch at all. The only thing that comes from me is an allergy. Short of that, my body works, and so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. But of course, I'm not eating a bunch of Twinkies, but I ain't gonna lie to you, I got a box of Twinkies. I got a box of Zombieland Twinkies the other day. I was at Aldi. I got pulled in. And as long as my body's healthy and y'all aren't paying for my health care, I'm gonna eat what I want to eat, all right? It works for me. I feel good, jump out of bed in the morning, but I got that box of Twinkies. I ate that sucker. I haven't had Twinkies in probably over a year. And they had a box of Twinkies just staring at me. Yeah, I got it. The human body can take up a lot of abuse, but the whole point to that is that you have to determine out what's healthy for you, right? The only thing I ask people is give less meat a try. Give less processed food a try. Give peace a chance. Give less war a try. Give less voting a try. Give less. Like, how do you know until you know? Who said that? You don't know what you don't know. The unknowns that you don't know. And until you know the unknowns, you don't know. Sometimes you got to reboot your system and see what happens. It's like that saying, like, if you put a ball in front of a kid, no, if you put an apple in front of a kid, he'll eat it. If you put a chicken in front of a baby, it'll play with it. Things like that. They kind of tell us our default condition. But then again, I know that some kids, they're going to eat it. Let's be honest. I like that saying. And I think that that's probably true 90-something% of the time. I seen kids put everything in. I seen kids try to eat dogs and cats, okay? So let's just be honest. You put the chicken and the apple in front of the baby, let's agree, most kids gonna eat the apple. The chicken, they not, but you're gonna have one. Like, oh, he got fur in his teeth, he got feathers, and he's just trying to eat it raw. All right. But once again, the whole force. Don't force people to take in what you eat. Do something, share your information, and let them make up their own minds. Don't try to force people. That's as bad as being in a political party trying to use force on other people. Plus, that whole discussion is done anyway because they're about to print the meats. And when they print the meats, you don't have anything to worry about. The meat will be healthy. It won't be full of carcinogens and Ritalin and Viagra and all that stuff that the cow's drinking. It won't be full of all the things that cause the diseases. It'll be healthy. So they can print the meat. It'll still be killing. You're still killing the microbiology and the flora and the fauna, but at least we can end this debate of who's nicer. Who's nicer? Who kills less creatures? And I don't think that, there's something about killing mammals. I'm not picking up my vegan friends. There is something about killing mammals because we're closer to mammals. But the reality is people, they want your information. They don't want your force, right? When you force people, that's when you get that revolution thing. Stop forcing people. Have enough respect and love for them to let them make their own minds up because you're not helping the animals. And I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret, little hint. Oh, is my vegans here? Y'all here? I'll tell you a little hint. When you tell kids don't do drugs, they're gonna do drugs. If you tell meat eaters don't eat meat, you know what they did? You know what they did the minute after that argument? I'm being real with you. I'm gonna be real with you. I think I probably did it too. I was about to date someone a long time ago. She said she was a vegetarian. She said I shouldn't eat meat. She wasn't even out the door. I put a steak on the grill. I was literally killing it. She was killing animals by trying to force me to do something. Don't force me. I'm gonna go right out and do it. Don't force anybody. All right. Sasha and I agree in part. We need a revolution, a quiet revolution, maybe most effective. My point is I think we need a love revolution. You know, we need to dissent against the system, but not guns and tanks. There is nothing civil about our society. I agree, Brother Robert, we are uncivilized. And we need to say it more. We need to be honest and say we are uncivilized. Civilized societies don't throw children in prison by the masses. When your government works for a people, you don't have mass incarceration. Because when you have mass incarceration, it means you have mass people who don't agree with the laws. If people don't agree with the laws, they shouldn't exist. But the government doesn't care. They just build more prisons. Democrats and Republicans, they don't really care. And that's how you know they're not there for you. That's another reason why I ain't voting. Empathy is thoughtful, anger is reaction. Yes, Rebecca, we need to be more calm. We need to be more sit back, use your brain, don't use your muscles. Everybody got muscles. Men have bigger muscles because we evolved to protect women, children, and old folks in our tribe. But the first answer isn't to use your muscle. The first answer is to use your brain. That's a muscle too. You know, that's a muscle too. I mean, we have the other muscles just in case for defense if we have to. But you never want to start a revolution. You never want to start a war. It's a bad idea. No one else's shoes fit quite right. Nope, they never do, nor they, and they're not supposed to, because everybody has different experiences and everybody's experiences are valid. I used to hate it almost killed me. Now I just say stay away. Well, yeah, Maha, and you're bringing in more positive vibes and spiritual energy in doing that. And you're acting more mature in doing that. I used to have hate too. And I walk away from it. I don't know that I even got rid of all of it. I try to get rid of more of it that I can by introducing myself to different people from different walks of life. And the more people I introduce myself to, the less I can hate people. See, I think you can only hate people you don't know. You can only hate people who've been through things that you're not aware of. But when you talk to people, when you do the exact opposite of what political parties tell you, and you go talk to people and you find out why they are the way they are, I think almost all the time you're gonna realize that you would be that way too. That's why our way out is talking. Our way out is doing mature and adult things, not joining up to vote against someone, or going out to meet someone and find out why they believe what they do. So we can understand them and build a world that works for everybody. Seeking to understand them is not the same as condoning their words and deeds. Exactly, thank you, Amy, exactly, and that's my point. Looking and reading at hate speech is not condoning it. If anything, you're trying to study. They're crying out for help and you're responding as a human being that has a brain in your head, enough privilege to not get mad back at them and try and figure out what they're saying. Resolve the environment and the conditions that made them angry, and then we get less hate in the future that your kids gotta deal with. Energy just is. Yes, Hillary, energy just is. And nothing ever dies or goes away, it just changes form. The soul and mind are very much hackable. I think so, Daniel. I think so. I think it's all very hackable. The ancients told us that, religion told us that, and now science is telling us that. I think that's pretty true. All politicians are puppets, Maha, they all are. Good morning, Bridget. Let me see, a new Zombieland. What, Dan, you didn't know? I beat Daniel. Dan, you didn't know, Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a Zombieland part 2. I can't say it looked as funny as the first Zombieland, but I think that's more important than everything. That was one of the greatest, yes, Woody Harrelson. And he seemed like he might actually be one of the ones in Hollywood that actually is trying to help. He did a lot of great documentaries. Can't do zombies on TV. I see too many zombies in real life. Well, Maha, I do them on TV because it helps me to understand the zombies in real life. If you look at the zombies on TV, there's a lot of good analogies. Oh, I missed Fear the Walking Dead. I'm about to go, yeah. I'm about to get out. I forgot Fear the Walking Dead was on last. I think it was on. Fear the Walking Dead was on last night. I'm about to go. I know, we gotta save the world. I know, but I do my study and I understand how America works by watching zombie shows. And it's a statement of the world, it's a statement of everything that people escape from your real world watching apocalypse movies and television shows. There's a hint that your world doesn't work. There's a hint that your politicians suck, all of them. Their models and what they engineered needs to just be burned up in a fire. When the citizens en masse, one of the #1 watched shows was Game of Thrones and the zombie show, Walking Dead. Think about that. The majority of citizens, they turn away from alcohol and synthetic drugs and beer and all of that stuff for just a minute. All the artificial highs to watch a show about dragons burning people up and the Walking Dead. Oh, because the Walking Dead is in Game of Thrones too. That's how they escape from your politics, by watching people be murdered and surviving together in apocalypse. That should tell you that you need to go back in the hole you came out from. All right, good morning, Mary. Good morning. Let me see. Y'all going out, come back in. Nose to the grindstone equals eyes down. Yeah, ooh, I like that, Hillary. Yes, because that's what the grind is. When you got your head down, you're just grinding away. And somebody got some music playing in the background so you can do it better. It's like people go running. They put the music in the ears, the iPod, earpod things, they get to running so they can run better with music. That's why you had the old Negro spirituals, because it made the grind okay. That's why you got drugs and alcohol, because it lets people do things they're not supposed to. But that's the point. They're grinding and their head is down. They're trying to make this slave-like society okay. I like how you said that. Absolutely. Consensus is the highest form of democracy, and not for the impatient and lazy. No, it's not, Ron, because they want to do things right away, right? They don't want to talk to other people. They don't want to agree and come about good ideas that work for everyone. They want what they want now. They're used to the grind. They're used to working harder, not smarter. Absolutely, totally agree. Get those survival bags ready, but most importantly, get yourself prepared and ready. Absolutely, Daniel. Well, I don't agree with this whole word doomsday prepper. That, to me, that's stupid. Bad time prepper. I like that word all. Why? Because bad times always come, and that's what the elderly always told. Our elders always told us prepare for the hard times. That's why we always had pantries, we always had seeds, and everybody had a garden. Bad times came, you need to be able to take care of yourself and your community. People who can't take care of themselves, they don't revolt against their kings and lords and colonizers. They can't. They can't even take care of themselves. Gold taken from the conquered. Gold taken from the conquered. Mary, I'm not sure where we are with that. A pox on both houses. Yes, Mary, we need a pox on the Democrats and the Republicans' house. And mostly we need a pox on the whole system. We need a pox on the whole system. The whole system needs to go away. Most meat sold now is rat and camel meat. What? Adrian, is that real? You making that up? That's fake news. It might be possible. I don't know. You look around the world, you put dog meat in there, and I might believe you. But dang it, a dog and a cow look just alike. And they play too. You give them both the ball, they go out in the field, run and play. People love their dogs, but boy, they eat a cow. But boy, you go ahead and let them see a dog in the meat section of the grocery store. Cows are okay, boy. You put a dog in the meat section of the grocery store, boy, they get their Sharpie pens out. They'll start a riot. They'll burn that grocery store. But it's just indoctrination, right? It's indoctrination. Like I said, that's how I know I'm an omnivore. I'm an herbivore because I was indoctrinated for meat. I was given the culture of eating meat, and I never had a choice. And so as I got older, I gave it a shot, and it turns out my body performs better without meat. And so I gave it up, and my body performs better without cheese. And so I eat as little as possible. My body performs better without milk. I don't drink it at all. My body performs better without sugar, so I grow stevia. And that's it. And you kind of go that direction. But don't force anybody else to be like you. Otherwise, you're just as bad as the government. That's just a violation. Share with people. What's the saying? You catch more bees with honey than something. I forgot. All right, let me see. I was very upset at the time. I didn't add to me. That was the day I started to mistrust media. All right, Mary, I think you were commenting to someone. Good morning, Jasmine. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, 7. Let me see. Building 7 made 9/11 a gun conspiracy deal. All right, Rebecca, is that the one where they say the charge were placed? I haven't seen the evidence. I don't know anything about the evidence. Don't ask nobody. Ask me about the evidence. Somebody asked me about the evidence. I'm like, I don't know. I don't do social media. I'm an engineer-ish, thing-ish. I don't need to see the evidence. If a firefighter commissioner in New York, along with the family, say we need to reinvestigate this, I'm good to go with that. Let the professionals get together over the data in an open source investigation, not a dark one now. Anytime people die, you're supposed to have an open source murder investigation, because usually the murderers, the first place they want to go is to the investigation to do the investigating so they don't get caught. All right. So, so I don't do the whole, let's look at the evidence and figure this out on the social media comment section. I don't do that. I just told the brother, hey, listen, I don't know the evidence, not seen the evidence, and I don't even care. What I care about is there are families who had their loved ones killed, and it looks like somebody was up to something dirty. So we need to reinvestigate it. I always stand by people. I always stand by my neighbors. I never stand by systems. I'm not a system. I'm not a justice system. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a United States corporation citizen. I'm a human being. So I always stand with human beings. People got murdered. It needs to be relooked at. Yes, the framework / policy is the problem. Yes, Nora, fight the power, not the powerful. Fight the system. Rage against the machine, not the nuts and bolts. Or the driver. Because you kill the driver, somebody else will drive the machine. You take the machine out, nobody can drive it. We need to free the human race. That's what we need to focus on. Stop fighting the police. Fight the people who write the laws. A lot of good examples along that line. Absolutely. The framework, Nora, the model, the system, the systemic problem. And if you don't get rid of the systemic problem, it's pointless to get rid of the Donald Trump. Doesn't do anything. Arresting and feeding the hungry. Oh, arresting for feeding the hungry. Right, Marion. That's a good example. It's a great example of why you should not vote. If you're a human and you're feeding humans that don't have food, and you get arrested or go to prison for feeding humans that don't have food, the people who wrote that law ain't human. All right, they're not human. They're psychopathic. Their signal was jacked by, I don't know, aliens, or demons, or murderers, or killers, or something. It's the dumbest idea that if you feed people who need food, you go to prison or to make it outlawed because the lords and kings don't want homeless in their city. And blaming a dead man is shameful. Absolutely, Maha, blaming a dead man is shameful. You know what, speaking of that, even war criminal dead men. I don't blame John McCain. I don't blame George Bush. I just say the system that they thrived in should not exist. My daughter is a nurse who went to college to get a BA. They brainwashed her and now she believes in the medical stuff. She does, Jennifer, but she has a good mother. She's got a mother that questions everything. Give her time. She has your brain, your genetics, and your upbringing. Just give her time. That's all you got to do. That's all I do with my boys. Like, they're getting big now. I just tell them, you know what? You probably shouldn't do that. Probably shouldn't do that. You probably shouldn't do that. You know, all you do is, I think they say after, 13 or 14, you're not really raising them anymore. You're just kind of playing ping pong with them. Boom, 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 boom. Just kind of hit them back and forth. You know, I wouldn't worry about it. Trust in she has what you have, and eventually she'll see enough. You know, like that. Like what started to change my mind, Jennifer, on not vaccines as a whole, but something, right? Something. I'm not going to convince anybody I know what I'm talking about. But if you're giving kids 100 and something vaccines, it was a nurse. The nurse said, I'm watching these kids go from fine, normal, adjusted, playing, Google Gaga, whatever. Within 24 hours after giving them a shot, they just go lethargic, you know? And it was nurses that saw that. So maybe that's all your daughter needs to see. She just needs to see the real system. Because the system of the brainwashing indoctrination is very convincing and it's genius. They're minimally processed, and that is fine. Chewing is processing. No, it's not, Nora. I disagree. No, I don't know. You might be right. I'm not. Let me think about that. See, grinding up a smoothie in a blender is definitely processing. But chewing it up with your teeth is processing. You're saying we're just taking out a step that's not really artificial processing, but it's replacing something natural. And you might be right. I guess that kind of makes some sense. But do your teeth break it up as well as the blender does? And what is the system that breaks down the food? Like, aren't there things in your body that are needed to break it down? So there are some unnatural things about it, but I do it. We need to be honest about what's processed and what isn't processed. I get your point. That's a powerful point. So maybe blenders aren't necessarily processed, you know. But are there like enzymes in your stomach that need to break the food down that go dormant if we don't actually chew the food up and allow them to do it, and that could create some sort of ailment down the road? You know what I mean? Like for me, I try to break things down in that way. So I kind of still stand on it. I blend it up, and that's processing. I probably shouldn't do that. Take the seeds and skin from the tomatoes. Really? I eat the seeds and the skin. But if you take the seeds and the skin, isn't that processing? We can go all day, but isn't that processing? I think that's processing. Because the tomato seeds, they have a gelatinous covering on them. So you're not breaking them down anyway. You're just pooping them back out. Like that's what most seeds have. They have a covering, so you're not your enzymes can't break them down. They just get passed right back out. So that's a part of the whole natural process of the mammal eating and pooling it out in a nitrate pool. The skin we've always eaten. I've never seen a dinosaur peel the skin of an avocado. I've never seen a dinosaur, but I've never seen that. So I think we're supposed to eat the skins. Because remember, like, think of it from an evolutionary perspective. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about processing. Your body is a problem-solving machine. All those 50 trillion cells, and I don't know how many, I don't know who even counted them. Like 1, 2, 3, it might be 100,000. But those 50 trillion cells, they're problem-solving devices. And so for millions of years, they've been trying to figure out how to solve problems. They solve problems based on what they have to their access to. What they have access to is what you put in your mouth. That can go a couple different ways. Speaking of Disney, did y'all see that? Anyway, we don't want to go there. That ruined me. That was the crazy thing. The Disney picture with Minnie, and Minnie had a blue thing, and it was in the. Did y'all see that? That just messed my head up. I'm a man. Leave me alone. Stop it. I'm thinking. Let me get back on track. Men are made this way. This is what I'm saying. Don't blame men for being. We are made. I gotta get my head washed. Stop. Focus. Right. So microbiology. I don't see. Microbiology solves problems based on what they have access to the most, those compounds. Well, within that skin, it being broken down are things your body can utilize, and it utilizes them. So tomato skin is probably used for something. Now, is it hybrid tomato skin? Probably, maybe not, right? Because hybrids aren't what you have most. We had heirloom. So there could be a difference between hybrid tomato skin and heirloom. So it can go real deep, but avoid process as much as possible. That's my point. Eat things as natural as possible, the way we ate them for millions of years, and we'll have less dis-ease. Your body will work the way it's supposed to because it'll have the compounds it's supposed to do the things that it's always done. We were not sick evolving. If we were this sick evolving, we would have died out a long time. You can't run from no wolf with a runny nose. You can't get away from a grizzly bear coughing every 5 minutes. You know people who cough like they can't get 10 minutes without coughing. Do you think you're going to get away from a tiger? You're walking through the woods and you're sneezing and coughing and farting and all the stuff from all the we never would have made it. If we were the way we are now, we never would have made it. So we need to go back to eating unprocessed natural things. Fish are the furthest thing away from our own DNA. Okay, Nolan, what does that mean? That we shouldn't eat them? Let me see. When I tell my kids what meat is, example, a chicken nugget is chicken pieces, they get upset. They then always ask, did they kill it? They would generally get very upset. My parents have a farm and the chickens, they are our friends. Well, there's something weird about that, Trish. There's something weird about, we used to raise the food and eat it. A lot of farmers, they raise the animals and they love them and they care for them. I mean, I've seen, I have a good friend of mine is a beef farmer. And the way that man loves them cows, I mean, he's Native American. I don't know if that has part to do with it, but he loves them. Like, he gets up in the middle of the night, runs out there, takes care of them, births the babies. And what is that thing where they got the bloated stomach and crazy. Because they eat the wrong things, the stomach bloats up one of the stomachs. You got to stick a knife in it and let the air out. Like, he does all of that stuff that would just make me throw up. I want to throw up just thinking about it. So I know you love people love the animals, but mass farming and farming in that way are different, right? Like, one way gives you more of a respect for your food, and the other way just you don't care at all. And I think a lot of what you eat has to do with how it lived. Did you give it a good life, or was it stressed out like an American in the grind? Don't eat Americans, y'all, by the way. Don't eat American. Don't eat them. No. They're stressed out animals. They take a lot of drugs outside of the fact that they're synthetic drugs. Their body actually doesn't break it down. You're eating American, you're going to be eating Viagra and Ritalin and headache medicine and whatever else they're eating. Don't eat animals that are stressed out too. Animals that are in the grind, that live in a cage because you're stratifying the fat pumping them full of antibiotics because they're not living healthy lives. Don't eat that. If you're going to eat your meat, eat something grass-fed. Eat something that's been happy. All right, the whole Reagan administration, don't do drugs, and their program, what I do. Drugs. Laughing my butt off. It's very true. What is true, Daniel? Not they trick kids into doing drugs, and they built all the prisons just before all that advertising. And they shoved all the kids into prison. And it was not white nor black people. It's white, black people, it's Chinese, there's Asian, American, Native American, all of them, they're all in Congress, Hispanic, all of them. And they filled the prisons full of those kids because they were scared of them. They didn't fit the mold. They were poor kids. And so the best thing you can do is put them in institutions. And I disagree with that whole system. Thank you for your live videos. Looking good today. Thank you, Brother John. I appreciate it. It's the smallest thing I can do. Smallest thing I can do. We come on here, we kind of have conversations about breaking apart the matrix and building a better world. You can only hate people you don't know. Fear is the unknown kind of thing. That's exactly it, Rebecca. You can only hate people you don't know. And that's why everybody's farmed into different categories and they're given races and religions and all of this nonsense. Certain communities live together with them so you can hate everybody else. And the way I grew up, which is part of why I don't play the whole race thing, is most of the people in the race are going to sell you out anyway. They get more power over you, they're going to sell you out. I watched the whole thing. I watched the Washington, D.C. area, the black people all divided up, and you had the upper class and the middle class and the lower class. And the upper class treat the middle class like crap, and the middle class treat the lower class like crap, and they all thought they were better than each other. And at a certain point in time, I realized it has nothing to do with race, that people are just stupid. 98% monkeys, and if any of them get power over you, they're all going to sell you out. So, like, what's the point in like going with these categories that government gives people? Government made the race. That's factual. Okay, government made the races. Government made the supremacy, and then government made racism. Okay, and then government has artificial scarcity, starving people of all races. You can stop fighting racism. Please don't go to your government to fight racism. They literally, it's their tool. It is their tool. They made the race and then the racism. That's how they control people. They divide you up. So if you don't know people over there, you can hate people over there. We need to end the system, not one of their tools. Because ending the tool, fight the plumber, not the wrench. You can fight the wrench all day. I promise you the plumber got another. You ever see a plumber? They always got that belt, got all kind of wrenches and everything, and you might fight the wrench all you want. You might fight that tool. Hey, just go back to the truck and get another one. You're going to see plumber's butt all day. He's still going to be doing what he's doing. All right. Or get rid of the whole plumbing profession. But that's the analogy. Don't be foolish enough. It's like people who are fighting the gun. Stop fighting the gun. Get off of this gun control. Let it go. Scared people going to pick up knives, pitchforks, torches, and guns. That's what happens. Build a society where they're not scared. That's your focus. If you're scared of guns and you don't want people to have guns, then build a society where they don't think they need them. It only takes a generation or two. You free all the people. You don't like all them rednecks and people scare you in the country. They scare you when they got guns. Okay, well, give their children food. Give them water in a house. People in the ghetto scare you and bury you. Give them food. Let the robots give them houses. And guess what? They don't join gangs. They don't get guns and knives. They don't have to do those things. They do those things because they're trying to survive. That's your fight. Your fight is the environment, not the people. The people become what they're supposed to. Fix the environment and the people get fixed by default. But those are things your politician will never say, because your politician gets a retirement from their grind. Their grind is keeping you in a grind. We need to free the human race from grinds. The only grinds you need to do are the ones you create yourself for you. All right. Now, good morning. Courtney's in the house. Milk about killed me. Can't have that at all. Yeah, milk is dangerous, Trish, because it's got that casein in it outside and all the crap they feed the cows, all the synthetic drugs that don't break down while we're drinking all the synthetics in the water anyway. Casein is a carcinogen, and it's in the milk. grows cancer literally. Good morning, Victoria. Good morning, Willow. Victoria said something real deep the other day. I think early this morning I was looking at my post. You can catch more bees with honey, but you catch more honey being fly. What the hell are you talking about? No, what are you talking about? You catch more bees with honey, but you catch more honey being fly. More honey's being fly. Yeah, okay. He's right though. He's right. He known what are you? No, and I ain't know what you are. But you're right. You're right. Because we're an indoctrinated society. If you look good, you catch more honey. You catch more honeys. I assume that you're a male. You know, if you're in the other way around, because people are indoctrinated and told what looks good. They're told what's fly. They're told what smells good. They're told how to dress. They're told these things. They aren't even a self. You know, so if you conform and fit the model of what they say looking good is, oh yeah, you'll have them chasing after you. That's the problem with Hollywood and entertaining. I think it's silly. I wear what I want. I go what I want. The only thing is when I gotta pick cotton. I gotta fit in because people don't buy nor sell from you unless you kind of fit in. But you're right about that. There's a whole, we can go into that. That could be a whole conversation by itself. People are indoctrinated and told what they like as an entire society. Ayurveda, oldest health system in the world. Yes, Sarah, and this is why we need more healers and we need more people focused on Ayurveda. We need more holistic and naturopathic doctors. Absolutely. All right, this is Gerard. Y'all, I gotta get going. It's been an awesome conversation. It's Monday all day. I gotta go watch Fear the Walking Dead and I got to go get my grind on. But I ain't proud of it. I ain't proud of it, don't like it. My whole world was colonized. They gave me something to do. Now I got to go do it. But in between the grind, I'ma fight the grind. We need to get rid of the grind. We need to free the human race. We need to stop being proud of it. Stop listening to motivational speeches and quotes and things to get you happy being a colonizer or being a cog within their system. And if you need those things, you need to change your life. You need to get out of the grind that you're in because obviously your body's telling you, it's giving you a dis-ease socially that you shouldn't be in. This chart got it going. Love y'all to death. Good conversation. Yes, we're gonna leave on Sheepless in Seattle. Plumber's crack is whack. Plumber's crack is whack. Yeah, I did not even gonna go there. We did a whole video on that one day. All right, Adrian, I gotta get going. Listen. Y'all have a great day. It's Gerard. Love y'all to death. I'm out of here. Let's grow up. It's time to fix the system.